in that exact moment, I knew it wasn't right and I didn't say anything. And that was really, really, really difficult for me. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are well. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about forgiveness. So 3 practical tips on how to forgive yourself. Stay tuned. I was having a conversation with my sister about forgiveness and how to forgive yourself. When it comes to forgiveness, either forgiving yourself or forgiving others, unforgiveness can really weigh you down. So it can change the way you think, the way that you act, the way you interact with people. So just from personal experience, there was something that I saw or I witnessed when I was about 8 or maybe 9. And even though I was a child, looking back in that moment when I saw what was happening, I remember thinking, this is not right, I should do something or I should say something, and I didn't, and I kept quiet. Yeah, it always weighed on me. I'm 28 years old and it's weighed on me for 20 years, that's a long time. Until earlier this year, I think it was, I spoke to one of my sisters about it and I said, oh, do you remember that time that, so-and-so happened? And her memories were a bit vague about it. And I was describing to her what happened and she said, but Gina, you were just a child. No, you don't need to carry that around with you. I think if at the time I didn't really understand what was going on, then I'd find it a bit easier to forgive myself. But I think it was difficult for me because in that exact moment, I knew it wasn't right and I didn't say anything. And that was really, really, really difficult for me. So I had to really sort out learning how to forgive myself before I try learning how to forgive other people, because I'm not that good at it at the moment. I just hold on to stuff. I'd like to let it go, but I'm working on it, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 tips. The first tip, which I had to do myself, and this is probably one of the most difficult things, you have to forgive yourself for the things that you've told yourself about yourself. So let me explain what I mean. If you listen to your internal dialogue, how often do you tell yourself, you're stupid, you can't do that, why did you think that was a good idea, why would you be so silly, that's the reason why you always fail, that's the reason why your parents are split up, that's the reason why your dad's not around, that's the reason why you don't have a partner, that's the reason why your relationships always break down. These are really vile and disgusting things to say to yourself. You wouldn't say that to somebody if they were sitting right beside you. Well, I hope you wouldn't. You wouldn't say that to somebody who you cared about or who you loved. If you can picture somebody that you love dearly, would you tell them every time they did something wrong, you're so stupid, why would you do that? Oh, you're not worth anything, you're not important, just be quiet, why did you even say anything in the first place? You wouldn't speak to them. You wouldn't even dream of speaking to them like that. And so the first thing, listen to your internal dialogue and apologize to yourself. If you want to take the therapeutic route, you can write yourself a letter of forgiveness and just say, Gina, I'm sorry for saying X to you. I didn't mean it at the time. I was, going through something, whatever you want to say. But just take your time to think about the things that you've said to yourself over the years that have changed the person that you are. So if, for example, you keep telling yourself, oh, you can't do that, who do you think you are? You shouldn't even be trying. You're probably going to fail. Forgive yourself and just say, I'm sorry for discouraging you. I'm sorry for not believing in you. I'm sorry for belittling your dream. Actually, you can do it. You will be able to do well. And we're going to do this, so let's go. The second step, when you hear people say, just let it go. If I could just let it go, I would have. I don't want to be unforgiving. I don't want to be carrying this weight around. But I read a book and I cannot remember what it is called, but I might link it below if I remember in the meantime. And it basically said the practical way of letting go of unforgiveness is to look back at the past and accept that it's not how you wanted it to be, and you just leave it there. As in, you just say, do you know what? If I could change it, I would, but I can't. And you accept that that is what the past is, and you can't go and rewrite it, and you just leave it as there. And I'll tell you how that helped me. I have quite a tumultuous relationship with somebody very close to me in my family. We bump heads a lot. And it used to bother me because they are part of my family, right? And then one day I just said to myself, do you know what? There's actually nothing I can do about how this person treats me. The time has already gone. I can't do anything about it. So I just accepted that that is just a fact. I'm not going to tie up my emotions in it. It's fact. The fact is, this is the past and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm not going to wallow in it and let it affect me negatively anymore. I'm going to just be myself, because when things weigh you down, it changes who you are. And I wanted to just be free. I just wanted to be who I wanted to be without this kind of baggage hanging around me. So the third thing I would say is, when you're looking back or you're thinking about the things that you really struggled to forgive yourself for. So let's say you decided to end your marriage and you've got children, and you are seeing years down the line, you're seeing the effects that it's had on your children. Don't carry that unforgiveness around with you. Remind yourself that at that moment in time, when you decided that actually I'm going to leave the marriage, that you did your best with the knowledge that you had at that time. You believed it was the best thing for you to do. And if you were to go back, you would probably make the same decision with the knowledge that you have. You're not able to see into the future. You're not able to see how things are going to affect you or your family. Life, unfortunately, just isn't that way. And it's a sad truth, but nonetheless, it is a truth. So just remind yourself that with the knowledge that you had at that time, you were making the best decision, and just accept that you did your best at that moment. And if you know the outcome, you may not have done it, but you didn't. Just forgive yourself. The last thing I would say, and this was quite profound for me because it really made me question how I see myself. I was speaking to somebody about finding it difficult to forgive myself. There's something in particular, I might share this with you another time, guys. Yeah, stay tuned, hit that subscribe button now. There's something that I struggle to forgive myself for. It plays on my mind quite a bit. Not so much now, but it's still very much there. I remember I opened up to something and I spoke to them about it, and they said, why can't you accept it? And I said, because I don't like it. I can't accept it. I can't forgive it. I can't let it go. I can't do it because I don't agree with it. Do you know that feeling of I don't agree with what's happened? So for me to forgive it, to let it go, doesn't make sense because there's no synergy here. Do you see what I mean? And the person said, you've got a lot of love for your sisters. Do you agree with everything that they do? No. But you still love them, right? And you still accept them, right? So then she said to me, the degree to which we can forgive is the degree to which we love. She basically asked me, how much do you love yourself? Being unforgiving towards yourself is a very harsh and brutal thing to do. You're constantly beating yourself up. You wouldn't do that to somebody that you love. You would tell yourself you didn't do the right thing in that moment. You're going to do better next time. I'm going to forgive you now, and let's just try and do better. You wouldn't remind yourself about it day after day. You just wouldn't do that. If you truly loved yourself and cherished yourself, you just wouldn't do that. And so when I think about things that I struggle to forgive myself for, I oftentimes think about how I would manage the situation if it was one of my sisters. So it's just a bit of a nugget that I keep in the back of my mind. Obviously, I'm gonna say, can you click the subscribe button, like this video, and yeah, follow me on my social media. I'll pop it up somewhere. But yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon.